Why is Arc Raiders so goddamn good? This question has been nagging at the back of my mind for the last few weeks as I completely fell down a bottomless pit of addiction with insane goop, comical player interactions, and way too many free loadout Stella Montes runs. The more I played, the more I kept asking myself, why is this game so good? And after dozens of raids, deaths, and just one more run moments, I think I finally figured it out. There are a lot of factors that make Arc Raiders a good game, but the most obvious and the most important is the Arc themselves. Canonically, the Arc are AI controlled machines sent down to Earth that have absolutely decimated the human population, forcing what's left of humanity to live underground. In game, they feel just as oppressive. They aren't mindless mobs or background noise. The Arc are a constant looming threat that demand respect. They move, patrol, react, and punish mistakes. The game uses reinforcement learning style AI behavior, similar to how real world AI is trained, and it shows. The Arc adapt, pressure you, and force you to think on the fly. They're easily some of the best designed PvE encounters in modern gaming, and they fundamentally change how you move, fight, and survive in every raid. But as great as the Arc are on their own, they're only half the equation. To really understand why Arc Raiders works so well, you need to talk about the in-game push-to-talk feature. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nearly every shooter has this, and you're not wrong. On paper, this isn't some revolutionary feature, but it's the combination of brutally hard PvE and push-to-talk that makes Arc Raiders so special. Every encounter becomes a social gamble. You don't just see another player. You hear hesitation in their voice, their confidence, the panic, or their desperation. One moment you're crouching behind cover, negotiating a truce with a stranger while the Arc patrols stomp past, and the next you're deciding whether you trust the guy who just said, "I'm friendly, I swear." Sometimes it leads to betrayal and heart-pounding tension. Other times, it leads to genuinely wholesome moments. Sharing meds, escorting a low-gear player to extract, or teaming up with complete strangers just to survive. Those unscripted human interactions create stories you'll actually remember. And they only exist because the game allows players to talk, improvise, and make real choices in the middle of absolute chaos. Now, Arc Raiders is so special because it manages to captivate both PvE and PvP players at the same time. From a PvE perspective, a huge number of players have naturally gravitated toward cooperation. Using push to talk, people form temporary alliances on the fly just to overcome the Arc. I've lost count of how many times I've gone in solos and run into groups of 2, 3, or even 4 players who weren't queued together, but decided working together was the only way out alive. There are Arc encounters that you simply cannot beat solo early on, especially after a wipe or a fresh loadout. These moments force players to communicate, cooperate, and trust each other, creating interactions that feel organic instead of scripted. On the flip side, you've got us PvP chats, and the Arc makes that experience just as compelling. The Arc constantly create shifting, unpredictable circumstances that ensure no two raids ever play out the same. If you've ever been pinned down by another squad while a shredder, bombardier, or leaper crashes the party, you know exactly what I mean. The Arc don't care who you are or who you're fighting. They'll happily ruin everyone's day. I've died countless times because of the Arc, and I've also won fights specifically because of them. That chaos is a breath of fresh air in a genre that often feels stagnant and overly predictable. At the end of the day, Arc Raiders is so good because it understands something most extraction shooters forget. Tension isn't created by players alone. It's created by systems colliding. The Arc aren't just enemies. They're a living force that reshapes every encounter, pushes players towards cooperation or betrayal, and keeps every raid unpredictable. When you combine intelligent, oppressive PvE, meaningful in-game interactions, and a world that actively fights back, you get something rare. A game that feels alive. Arc Raiders isn't just about looting, shooting, and extracting. It's about surviving chaos with or against the people around you. And that's why it sticks with you long after the raid is over. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Did I get it right? Is there anything I missed? And as always, drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you.